Hey guys, this is the Academic Christian, also known as Chandler King. Where on this channel we look at things from a research-based, scientific, and biblical methodology. So we're here with another video. Instead of doing another video for Genesis, I don't know whether I'll do it tomorrow, but we're doing a sort of topic video. And so this video is it anti-science to believe in God? Obviously, I'm a Christian, so you already know that my answer might be sort of biased in a certain direction, but I want to show you evidence that it is not so through using research and using different articles. So I'm going to show a Pew research article for everyone to look at, and hopefully, like if you're someone who's an atheist on this channel, or maybe you're a Christian, maybe you're like, oh, if you're religious, you might be like, oh, science is, people are saying that, atheists are pointing out that, the Bible goes against science. It's not exactly so. And then people who are atheists might look at things this way. I'm going to try to point you into a direction using stuff from secular articles to show that science and God aren't always at odds. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with you guys right now. So I know that especially like on atheist YouTube channels and stuff, and even in not peer reviewed articles, in atheist YouTube channels, and a lot of people commenting on social media, a lot of people all the time think that science is always against the Bible. So what I did was I was curious myself, as someone who has a degree in science. I'm getting my master's degree in a science field. It's in health, so it's not in some of these fields, but I am planning to get a doctorate in research. Research has always fascinated me, and I'm sort of seeing how that's kind of the direction I want to go, is getting a doctorate dealing with research and statistics. So I'm sitting here and I look at this, and I'm going to go ahead and give you the breakdown of exactly what all this means. I'm going to try to simplify it for the audience, but I also want you to look it up yourself. Something that is very important when you ever do a research study, and this was something that was part of my master's degree program, because my degree again deals with health. I was sitting there in one of my research classes. We had to do an article based on secondary sources. We had to look up and we had to choose a news outlet. And when we choose a news outlet, we have to look and find the article that it was related to, and we had to see how well it matched up. And most of the time, a lot of people try to lie to fit their narrative. I, in no way, am going to try to do that, which is why I'm going to post the information at the very end of where I got this article from. So the simple breakdown is that 51% of scientists believe in some form of higher power. Now, I will say this, because again, I try to be fair. This is just one of the pictures from the article. It's not all of them. All of these aren't Christian. I'm going to put it to you frank. It's not all Christian. There are some who sit there and are Jewish, who are Islamic, and it's not all centered towards people from a biblical faith. But this is just showing it's not dumb to believe in a higher power, because research says even over half of the scientists, even though it's barely over half, believe in some form of higher power. So let's break this down. In the chart, you can see that there is a category where it says the light green, which says who believe in God without a shadow of a doubt. The dark green is people who don't believe in God, but believe in some form of universal spirit or higher power. So they may not believe in God of the Bible or God from some other religion, but they believe in something bigger than themselves. And then the blue is people who don't believe in either. And you have the gray who just don't know. And so what you can see the trends are is that people who were younger scientists, which is very shocking to me, because when you think of young people, you typically think of people who don't believe, they're losing their religion. And it's shocking to see that the younger scientists are the ones who are more likely to believe in a higher power. So when we sit there and look at it, we see the younger you are, the more likely they're believing in it. You also see that the field of chemistry is the one that is the highest, and the one of physics and astronomy is the lowest. Now, possibly, this is my thinking, and don't get me wrong, I'm not someone who knows everything with scientific fields. Again, my degree is in health, so I don't know what all it entails. But I believe probably physics area. The reason they don't believe as much is, you got theories such as the Big Bang, which explains how the world would have got into existence without there being a creator. I look at it from a standpoint of it doesn't discount one either. Uh, you can take with that what you will, but this is basically to show it's not crazy to sit there and look and think, hey, there's a higher power in existence, because most people believe in some form of higher power. Now, I wanted to say this real quick. This was a study done in the U.S., so this doesn't look at what happens in Europe and things like this. To my knowledge, reading the article, it was something that happened in the United States. So I want to go ahead and just kind of get everyone to just realize that real quick. I want to conclude on this for people who are believers, and people who are non-believers as well, who are welcome on my channel. I'll always try my best to treat you fairly. There is never going to be a way to fully disprove there being a higher power. We can form theories to say, hey, the world could have been created without one, but there'll never be a way for us to fully show that there isn't one. So there's no way we could fully discount there being a higher power. You can believe it, and you can have certain scientific theories. And let me tell you this, the scientific theories that come up, they're well backed up by scientists. But isn't it interesting that still most of the scientists believe in something that is a higher power? At least it is to me. So what I'm saying is the Bible, and we looked up in a video. I did a video because, and it hurt me. It was a video where I was talking about someone who is a evangelical who is well known in the Christian community. I thought he was doing wrong, and I'm not going to mention too much in the video because that's not what this video is about. But him and I disagree with a fundamental thing. Is I am one of those who believe that the earth is older. In Genesis 1, I believe that those days that were in Genesis were a set period of time. So in Genesis, and I think it's 2 Peter 3:8. I'll have to look back at it. If I'm wrong, I'll go and post it if someone has a question. But there is a scripture in the Bible that mentions that, hey, time in God's time is different than time in our time. It said a day in God's is like 1,000 in humans. And I don't think it's exact. I think it's just saying, hey, we view time from a different concept. God sits there and looks at everything different. So it could have been a very big metaphor. And I'm one of those people that if it doesn't show exact details of how everything was created, you can't scrutinize it. That's just my opinion. So I don't think there'll be a way to ever fully disprove God. This channel, I devote a lot of things where I mention the reliability of the Bible. I match it with different sources that are from outside of the Bible. And so I may not be able to prove it's true, but I can prove it's reliable. And if you prove it's reliable, it's more likely to be true than not true. I could be wrong about it all. I'll see one day. I think we all will. But this channel is devoted to, learning, research the Bible, and loving each other. Um, but I want to say something to Christians real quick. Atheists, you're still welcome here. You can listen, but this is a message that is to my fellow Christians. Is a lot of Christians sit there and insult the education system that I'm a part of, by the way. They insult the education system and say that it's bad, it's evil, they teach this, this, and that. It's not as bad as you think. If you sit there and look at it, if we're producing people who are coming out, who are scientists, that are still over half believing in some form of higher power, it can't be too bad. Now, you could sit there and take with it what you will. I've said this from the get-go. Christians who are who want to do specific fields and go to college, but their only reason for not going is because that they believe that you're entering an environment where everyone is anti-Christian. Listen to me. The only way we get through in this life is learning from other people. I've had amazing professors who were atheists, and I would love to be in their class again. That doesn't mean we saw eye to eye on everything. And I just want to say this. Christians, the reason we lose this fight and we're continuing to lose this fight is because we're having more and more people say, I'm not wanting to go. We're fleeing from conflicting ideas, or we're insulting people because we're like, oh, this can't be true because of this. Instead of, hey, why don't we go to college? Which I'm not saying if it's not your path, it's not your path. But if you sit there, you're Christian, you go to college, you can change the system from within inside. You can have more people who are religious, who are college professors. I mean, it's one of those things. I've even had a college professor. I remember being in not Bible study, in church one day, and I was shocked that one of my professors were actually in church, and they were a science professor. So, and they were the ones who sat there and taught about evolution and everything. So what I'm saying is this. Don't let something like that discount there being a belief in God, because there are scriptures that explain all that. And not only that, you sit there and think that that scientist there were some other, I had multiple scientists that went to a church that I went to. It's interesting. I think God put that in my life to show me. You look at science study, you typically see religious people live longer. It's not something that I understand exactly why. Maybe it's because they have friend groups and they have a sense of purpose. I'm not saying people who are atheists don't, but I'm saying if you're Christian, it's much more set, at least in my opinion. And based off of research, it's showing that people who are religious live longer. So my thing is this: science and God can very well coexist. We're sitting there looking at this. God, you sit there and look at this article. This article goes along with several other articles. It's not just one. And it's showing that 51%, or at the very least 50%, believe in some form of higher power. And I find that truly amazing and beautiful. And my thing is this: Christians, you need to get in the fight, become educated. If you don't, how do I put it? If your path is not college, I'm not saying you go to college just because of this reason, but you become educated yourself. Don't sit there and just look at secondary articles, which I look at as news outlets. Look at the peer-reviewed research. Look at the information yourself and become active learners. That's the only way we get anywhere, and that's the one thing I will say that's bad about some Christians is we often confine ourselves into this one little box, a metaphorical box, and we're scared of ideas that conflict with our own. Science is always ever changing. What we say today may be different tomorrow, so it's important to just continue to research. Man, I'm going to hit that with a nail on its head. Continue to research. Continue to study, and I'm begging you, some of y'all, that are listening and who are on the edge, like, hey, I don't want to go to college because of this, even if you have to go to a Christian college. That's just my opinion. So I wanted to say this. I put the references up. People may look at it like, oh, well, you're someone who's in grad school, you got a master's degree. Why are you not putting it like a citation for APA style and you're just putting a URL? Look, I deal with a lot of assignments in a day, and if I really don't want to go through the effort of posting all that, so I'm just giving you a way for you to look up the article for yourself. You decide on the information. You decide where God pulls you, or if you're atheist, where science pulls you. Because I'm showing you this coincides with each other. It wouldn't be this way if people who were scientists flat out thought that religion had no place. I just want to say thank you. I love you. I'm praying for all of you. Please look at the research. Love you guys. Peace out.